What did they do to make it so difficult for you out there?
I think they do the same things that they always do. They're very direct, fight for the first ball, second ball, and obviously we all know that this is their cup final, and they will try to do everything in their power to make it difficult and try and win from us. And we've seen it last year how difficult they made it, and this year you see them scoring in the end. It's obviously a big boost for them, but it's a blow for us.
Did it feel like a different atmosphere to normal? Because you've obviously played in plenty of these Merseyside derbies, but with this being the final one here at Goodison Park, did it make it a different feeling at all?
No, not at all. It's always a good atmosphere when we play against each other, home and away. So it didn't feel any different. I think obviously the feeling right now is obviously disappointment. That's pretty obvious. And there will be for today and tonight. But from tomorrow on, we focus on Wolves and try to get the 3 points then, and so on and so on. We all know that we have a lot of games up until the international break, so there's no point to dwell too much on this result. We wanted to win here. We could have won here. Maybe we should have won here. But it's what it is. We take it and move on.
Yeah, this was your game in hand, which starts a run of the 5 matches in 15 days, a busy period coming up. So how do you reflect on that point? I appreciate it's only shortly after the final whistle, but as you head into this run of games?
Fine. I think we put ourselves in a very good position, and that's down to hard work, quality, consistency. And I think I encourage everyone to just look at ourselves, try to win every game ahead of it, and don't look ahead of us, and don't look at what others do, what other teams are trying to do, or just focus on ourselves, try to be our best version and get 3 points on the table each and every game ahead of us. And I include the fans with that as well, so it will be a very intense last part of the season, but let's go and enjoy it. And like I said, we put ourselves in a good position, so let's go out there and keep going.
Speaking of intense, just the final moments of the game, there were a few red cards out on the pitch. Talk us through what you saw and what you can tell us about what happened out there.
Obviously, they saw how they celebrated the goal. With all, they have all the right to. But I think Doucouré in the end wanted to provoke our friends. I think that was what I saw, and Curtis didn't think that was the right thing to do. And then obviously, you know what happens when someone is when there is a little tussle, or how you want to call it. I think the ref didn't have the game under control, in my opinion. I said it to him. I don't know what it is, but it is a fact, and both teams have to deal with it. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. Like I said, take the point and move on.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, he touched on the melee at full time, and this has come via the Premier League Match Centre X platform. So the referee issued second yellow cards and red cards to Curtis Jones and Abdullah Doucouré after an altercation. Following the final whistle, Arne Slot and his assistant Sipke Hulshoff were also shown straight red cards after the final whistle. So that clarifies that. What about what Virgil had to say there, Michael?
Well, yeah, I agree.
There's
with
clear
it.
disappointment there, isn't there, that they've dropped
points?
points?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I said before, I don't think Liverpool would have taken a point before the game. Of course not. But I don't think it's the worst result. It's just the manner in it, conceding so late when you feel as if you've got the 3 points and you feel as if, one hand is on the trophy. To only get 1 point is frustrating, but it's not, as I say, this is one of the toughest games on their fixture list for the remainder of the season. So to come away with a point isn't the worst thing. There's 7 points ahead still in total control. There's average things happening to other people. The news came out from Arsenal that Havertz has torn his hamstring, out for a long period of time. Liverpool have still got a really full, fit squad. They're healthy, they're playing well, they're picking up points. They're still in real command of this league, but just a tinge of disappointment for tonight.
Considering 10 of the 11 were rested from the FA Cup game against Plymouth for today's game at Goodison, were Liverpool as dominant as you expected them to be?
No, but that didn't surprise me because this game is always very difficult to play in, and quite often the superior team doesn't really, play the football that sometimes they play throughout the season. I thought we have to give credit to David Moyes, the way that he kind of set up this roadblock, shall we say, to slow down those attacks from Liverpool. No one really looked comfortable. I think it was a difficult game for the referee to officiate on. I do feel there was a lot of contact tackles, and it was difficult to run it. Were they fouls? Weren't they fouls? So I could see it kind of like building, couldn't you? You could feel it was bubbling under the surface. Liverpool, though, are really still in a strong position. They play Arsenal on the 10th of May, and there's are there a dozen games between now and then?
Yeah.
There are some difficult fixtures, though, for Liverpool that they're going to have to negotiate. So it's not completely done. But we're looking at an Arsenal team that will play Leicester at the weekend, the first kick-off, the early kick-off, with none of the front three available for selection. So Arsenal are doing this, if they can do it, between now and the end of the season with their hands tied behind their back. They haven't got the front players they need, and Liverpool are still really comfortable. So, but as we say, there's difficult fixtures, and Liverpool now will be under a little bit of pressure because of that. You see Villa away, Man City. You know, I know people thinking they're finished. They're not. Newcastle now quite formidable, even at home. They're difficult games.
Yeah.
So
those games, I mean, including today's game against Everton, that starts a run of 5 Premier League fixtures in 15 days, Michael, as they try and keep the others at arm's length.
As I say, good job they've got a fully fit squad.
Yeah.
You could say, oh yeah, 1 or 2 players have got fit, but in general, they've been a very, very fit team all season. Arne Slot's had everybody to pick from. So that's good. He managed to rest players at the weekend, even though the result was poor and they're out of a cup competition. It's still given the players a decent rest before they go into this period of time. So yeah, some tough games ahead, no question about it. But they're in such a better position, I think, mentally, certainly physically, than all of their opponents at the moment. So I still see them, you know, cruising towards the end of the season. They've been there, they've seen it, they've done it before, they're experienced players. There's not many question marks. I mean, the manager is probably the biggest question mark.
Yeah.
And based on what he's shown
They're
this
in
season,
incredible.
you can't really question him
They're in
either.
an incredible position now. I don't want to say, look, it's theirs to throw away, because you go and earn it, and you deserve it if you take it. But, you know, they're in a strong position. They won't have their manager, by the way, in the dugout at the weekend. So there's going to be...
Or their assistant manager.
Or their
They've got no
assistant
one on the bench.
So I'm not sure who's making the decisions at the weekend.
But do you think also last season's experience will stand them in good stead for Liverpool, because they were in the title race for so long?
Yeah.
And having won the Carabao Cup, it kind of fell away from Jurgen Klopp in that final season.
It did, but remember, this team has been together for a long period of time. That's their strength, you know. As I say, the one question mark you can have is the manager's never won it. But really, when you tell your players to go out onto the pitch, they've all been there, seen it, done it. They've won everything, you know, everything this game has to, or the majority of them that this game has to offer. So their experience, I can't see how they can trip up so badly, especially with everybody falling around them. Now, Arsenal aren't falling around. They're putting in a nice little run at the moment. But in terms of what Martin touched on there, they've got some injuries to big players, to a lot of their front players. And Liverpool just seem to be cruising through. That's a tough game today. A point's not the worst result in the world. It feels bad because they give it away in the last minute. They'll feel bad. The fans all around the world will feel not great. Arsenal fans will be rejoicing tonight. However, when the dust settles in the morning, 7 points clear with a fully fit squad, they're still really in the driving seat.
Are Arsenal fans rejoicing?
10 would have been a lot worse. Do you know, it keeps that little glimmer, the little light, chink of light that you can aim for. You know, I've been in an Arsenal team that was 12 points behind at Christmas against Manchester United, and we sucked them in. We went after them. You can do it. It's about belief. Maybe, you know, tonight that questions the belief a little bit of Liverpool, but they are in the boss position. It's up to them now to trip up. But as I say, I think their most difficult games come in the next 4 or 5 matches. If they win all of those, then I think they'll be champions.
Well, that's the story of the title race. Today was all about really Goodison Park coming together for the final ever Merseyside derby. And it didn't disappoint, did it? Thank you so much for watching. My thanks to Martin and to Michael. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was some way to end the last derby at Goodison. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.